Hello, welcome to Navigating to Success. I'm your host, Jeff Carlton, certified focal point business and executive coach. And today I'm extremely pleased to be joined by Adelita Duryea. Welcome.
Yes, thanks for having me, Jeff.
So, Adelita founded and is the owner of Sprout and Scale Marketing out of Gillette, Wyoming.
Mhm.
So, it's exciting to have another Wyoming business on the show. Adelita, why don't you tell us what you do at Sprout Scale?
So we're a marketing agency. Our main services are marketing, digital marketing, such as website design, email campaigns, social media management, and we also do a lot of branding. So while that is, yes, logos and colors and kind of helping you put that together, we also do like the not sexy side of branding, which is like, how do you create your mission statement, and what does a vision statement look like, and how is it different from a mission? And we also do a lot of coaching with that, so full service and coaching.
Excellent. Well, I'm certainly familiar with that, and a lot of what you just described are the cornerstones of beginning a strategic plan, which we'll talk about yours when we get later on. So, how big is Sprout and Scale now? How many employees?
So we are a sole proprietorship. We don't currently have anybody staffed besides myself. We contract a few things out. That is actually something we're really excited about this year. Is our business has been around for a couple of years now, and actually this year we're at that awkward teenage phase where it's we need to start hiring people, and what does that look like, and how do you go from just yourself to adding on a payroll? So that's some exciting stuff coming up.
So, yeah, that's an interesting place to land us for a second. Getting through that initial growth phase of am I going to hire somebody on part-time versus full-time, and the responsibilities as a business owner of taking on somebody else's future and their well-being. What what are I mean, you're excited about it, which is great. What are some of your pitfalls or hesitations in there?
So, like you said, you are almost responsible for those people, and businesses I've had in the past and hiring people, that is something that hits me especially hard. Is I feel very responsible for the people who work for me, and so I am excited about hiring somebody for our marketing agency, but there's a lot of fear around it as well. I mean, you can't expect the same things out of your employees or the same dedication that you have, because this is my baby. I shouldn't expect them to have that same level of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make the business work. And I mean, there's words around where it's hard to find the people you want. Hiring is difficult. And like you said, how do I hire somebody part time first? Do I go straight into full time? Is the business ready for a full time person yet? And so that's why at this point in time, we've contracted a few things out, and we're just kind of getting ready to look at probably a part time person first.
Right. And then, is it 1099 or are you taking on the full payroll
Mm-hmm.
piece of it? Do you do your own books or do you have a bookkeeper?
So I have a bookkeeper. Math is not my strong suit.
When you're not good at something, acknowledge it and find somebody who is. Or
Exactly.
even if you are good at it, if it is a distractor from your primary purpose, um, find somebody that can do it for less money than you want to pay yourself, and who can do it better.
Hmm.
So you started up 2 years ago. Um, are you sir? Do you? So let's talk about your ideal client for a minute. Are they local? Are they Wyoming based? Are they geospecific, or are you national?
So our ideal client is Wyoming business. I really love small business. Something that I've seen as a pain point for those businesses is they they don't know how to market their business. They don't know who to go to get help with that. Or, I mean, we've seen it. There's a lot of nationwide marketing, but Wyoming people really like that person to person feel. They like it when you can come and meet them in person and shoot content for them on site. So that is our main like ideal client is our Wyoming small businesses. We do have a few outliers, of course. We have some clients that are in Idaho, Montana, Colorado, but we're still that small business.
Okay. Um, and that's important to define that. Do you see yourself expanding out um, i- at some point, or are you going to keep stick with that model?
So I think things can always change, but at this point in time, we want to keep it to that because I love Wyoming. I'm part of the Fuel Incubator and ECED in Gillette, which is a local economy builder. They're really trying to help build startups. And that's kind of where my passion is. And we put a lot of resources into helping develop those local businesses. So that's where I'd like to keep my focus on for the most part. I don't ever see Sprout and Scale going to the model where it's nationwide and everything's over digital, because while digital is important, I mean, we do digital marketing, um, it's easy to lose that personal touch and that relationship building. And that's such an important part of what our core value is. And so I see it mostly remaining local, small business, mostly within the state.
I love what you said there when you talked about core values. Can I ask you what the core value is?
So we have three main core values. One of them is relationship, and another one is education, and the third one is authenticity.
I love that. That is fantastic. And if you're able to articulate that to your clients and your prospects, um, that's why we have core values. And the fact that you want to stay true to that um, means you have your business firmly on track for where you want to drive it to go. And that's quite respectable. I love that. So let's switch gears for a second and let's talk tech. How has the onset of AI impacted what you're doing? Because the landscape's different now than it was in 2022.
Yes. So personally, I'm a firm believer in AI. I really love it. I know that especially the beginning of this year and last year when it was really coming out heavy, it scared a lot of people. There was that whole whisper going around of AI is going to replace everybody. This is a nightmare. And I do not see it replacing people. You need people for that connection factor, and I see it as an excellent tool. I love utilizing it, but it can't function by itself. We use ChatGPT quite often, but I mean, you'll see people say it, they'll go, "Oh my gosh, we went in to make a social media caption off of ChatGPT and it just sounded like a robot and it spit it out funny." And that's where you need that people factor to come in. Um, it's handy. It's an excellent tool. I love it. We use I want to say every day in our business, but you need that people factor in there and you need to know and learn how to use it appropriately.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you say AI is a tool. So it's a tool in the toolbox, but AI doesn't build relationships, which is a key element to what you do. It's a very relationship based business that you're in. One of the things that I have learned utilizing AI is how important the prompting is. And so that's the next big step because it really is garbage in, garbage out, right? If you don't prompt it right, you're going to get something that's a cross between a grocery list and um, you know, an advertising plug. So that's interesting. So 2 years into this, what does it look like in 12 months or 36 months?
As far as the future for the business, I see continued growth. Um, like I said, we are at that awkward teenage phase where right this second we're not ready to start hiring, but probably by 2025, we're going to have somebody if we want to continue on the growth pattern we're seeing. Um, and really, that's about all that I can share at this point in time. We have a few other exciting things coming up, but they've got to wait a little bit to come out.
So you keep saying we, is that, but you say your sole proprietorship. Who's the we?
So that is an excellent question. I wholeheartedly believe in manifestation. If you have a goal, you need to live it. Like they always say, dress for the career you want to have, or um, what I view it as is you need to talk of where your business is at. And I have some places where I want Sprout and Scale to be in the future. And right now, the we is me, myself, and I, and Chat GPT, and my inner circle of people who help support me and my business coach. But I fully plan to have a whole marketing team with Sprout and Scale. And so I will always speak for Sprout and Scale as if it is already there because it's going to be there. And I'm just willing it to happen.
I absolutely love that answer. That that's fantastic. I absolutely love that. And I wanted to make sure there wasn't two of you in there fighting for control. So
You never know.
no, that's fantastic. And I do think it's the power of um imagining what it will look like, and I use the word will look like, is to manifest what your dream is really important. It's a really powerful tool. And a lot of people go, oh, that's just woo-woo. But it works. And most of the most successful people we know have utilized that technique and that mindset. So I really appreciate that. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, so parting shot, everybody gets this question at the end of the show episode. What advice would you offer to a aspiring entrepreneur, somebody who's struggling and it's not manifesting the way that they want?
So there's so much advice out there. There's so many things you can and should do. Um, I would say one of my biggest ones is really solidify your mission. So a lot of people when they get into entrepreneurship, they have their small why and it's I want to get rich or I want more free time or I want to be my own boss. And entrepreneurship is hard. Owning a business is hard. And those why statements are weak. You need to have something that's stronger than I want to be rich or I want to be my own boss because on those hard days where you're really struggling, you need to have something firmer and a better overall mission. And so, being in branding and marketing and working with small businesses, something that I see forgotten about for small business is they go, okay, branding. They make their logo. They maybe, if they're really fancy, they'll actually solidify what their colors and fonts are. And then I mean, that's the sexy side of branding. Everybody knows that portion, but they don't sit down and go, what is my overarching mission? What is my vision? What are my core values? And you need to really solidify what that mission statement is so that it can keep you strong. And also, as your business grows, you don't get diluted. So, kind of like how you mentioned earlier, Jeff, where it's cool, I have my core values figured out. I know what that's going to mean for my business as it grows. If you don't have the DNA of your business solidified, the mission, vision, core values, as it grows and more people get involved in your business, it can get messy and it can stray from what you originally wanted it to be. So sit down with yourself and write out that mission. What is your overarching purpose? Why are you doing what you do more than just your selfish reasons?
Yeah, it's really important. You said the magic word in there is what is your why? And it takes you got to peel a few layers off the onion to really get to your why, to develop that mission statement. There's a ton of stuff out there. The other thing that's come up frequently and we've brought out is being an entrepreneur can be very lonely. So don't walk the road alone. It's
Mhm.
okay to ask for help. It really is. It's brave. So, Adelita, thank you. This has been an absolute pleasure. Any parting shots before we wrap this one up?
Um, I will just feed off of one last thing that you just said. Um, yes, have your support group. You need that. But don't forget to make sure that you are conscious of who you have in your support group. You can have your cheerleaders and everything, and that's awesome, but make sure that you have some people in that group that know business. So I have my business coach. I partner with the Wyoming SBDC and the Campbell County ECED because I love my husband. He's amazing, but he doesn't know business. So while I may bounce ideas off of him, he may not be able to give me the feedback that I need for it to be realistic. Whereas going to my business coach or going to the Wyoming SBDC and talking to them about it, they can give me a bit more insight because they've been in that business mindset. So have your support group, but be mindful of who you have in there.
Fantastic words. And a great advertisement for business coach. If you're walking alone, it doesn't have to be that way. I know a guy who can help you. All right. Well, Adelita, thank you so much for joining me today and for everybody else. We'll see you on the next episode as we explore more business journeys. Thank you, Adelita.
Thanks, Jeff.